Gotta get those clicks. Am I right? Gotta milk this to fill the column inches. Yeah, I'm aware I'm doing the exact same thing. Roll titles. So F1 will be back at the weekend at the Belgian Grand Prix, which is a track that the drivers and fans both love. And there is a lot of nostalgia in the air because it will be 30 years since the Michael had his first run in an F1 car. But despite the nostalgia train running full steam ahead, there is the other story that's running around behind the scenes. The rumour mill regarding whether or not it will be Bottas or Russell in the second Mercedes seat for 2022. And you only have to Google Russell Bottas Mercedes to see a bunch of articles and forum posts with the hype train in full effect. Will we get the announcement this weekend? And, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm sure it puts Toto Wolff in a very difficult spot. He's connected to both drivers. He is or was Bottas' manager, and Russell is a Mercedes Academy driver. And Bottas, despite being shit, has contributed to the constructors pretty well since 2017, except last year when Lewis would have won it all by himself, obviously. And people go on about, Bottas is the wingman, can't have Princess Lulu having competition now, can we? Princess Lulu can't handle it after Rosberg. Just remember that this is exactly what Rubens Barrichello was. Bottas never moved over on the finish line or had to give up 4 seconds a lap with brake problems like Eddie Irvine had to. 1998 Austrian Grand Prix. Both drivers were tight-lipped in the press conference on Thursday, and I think both of them are pretty sick of hearing about it now. Toto wants it done by September, but Russell says a decision is unlikely to be announced at the Italian Grand Prix next weekend. Whether it was to get people to shut up or it's true, you decide. And Bottas said, maybe I know something, maybe I don't, but right now there's no news to share. So I'm guessing it'll be done when it's done is what we should really be hearing. And Russell also said that there's no news as of yet, not this weekend and probably not next weekend either, to be honest. It's no problem, do things right rather than quickly, let's say. So you have to add up which way you go with this. On one hand, you've got the solid number 2 in Bottas filling the Barrichello and Coulthard role. He's there to score as many points as possible, while the better driver in Hamilton goes for the wins that naturally bag the most points. And yes, Hamilton is the better driver. On the other hand, Hamilton isn't getting any younger, and Mercedes will want to look onwards and towards the future. In that future is Russell, a driver who hasn't had much luck in his time in F1 so far, but to have Hamilton as someone to mentor him in his final years, it will mean that when Hamilton moves on, George will be able to take over and hit the ground running. In theory, anyway. And when people go, but Princess won't want the competition, it's just getting boring. What else has he got to prove? He's a 7-time champion, he has a metric buttload of records, he's the most successful driver in history of terms of wins and pole, and yes I know, but the car. And he can just go out and enjoy himself these days. Obviously he still wants to win, that much is clear, but that's how serial winners are. It's similar to how Jackie Stewart was mentoring Francois Sever in 1973, and Sever was set to take over in the 1974 season, if not for his fatal crash at Watkins Glen. And Russell is by far the faster driver and has junior category success to back it up. But we've seen in the past drivers be able to outperform cars in the mid and the back of the pack, only to struggle once they're in a front-running car. Drivers like Frentzen, Trulli, Fisichella, and most recently Gasly, but with Gasly you could argue that against Max you were going to look bad by comparison because Max is so much better. The car's made for Max and yada yada yada. And while Bottas is a great team player, his form goes up and down like a yo-yo. This season hasn't been great, and admittedly what happened at Monaco wasn't even his fault. Hungary was a misjudgment, and for whatever reason at Imola he was struggling to keep Russell's Williams behind him until the two collided. I mean, we can debate whose fault it was all day every day. But still, with a car that should be on the podium every race, and a car that flip-flops with the Red Bull for being the best car for a particular track rather than being the outright best car on the grid across the entire season, he shouldn't be behind Norris in the championship. And there are occasions where he's driving around and it just gives off that aura that his fate is sealed and he just doesn't give a toss anymore. And according to the BBC, some insiders believe Russell is already a done deal and Bottas is just ticking off the races until his contract expires, but then where would he go? In Formula 1, he could go back to Williams, but there are other drivers coming up from F2 that could otherwise have that seat, and there are rumours he might go to Alfa Romeo to replace Raikkonen. But if he wants to leave Formula 1, then the WRC or something like that might be more his thing, because rallying is something that he does in the off-season and clearly enjoys doing. And with Mercedes leaving Formula E, that's going to be off the table in terms of a factory drive, but a lot of drivers who underachieved or otherwise didn't achieve in Formula 1 have gone on to do good things in endurance racing, and he might be a good fit there. He can be consistent enough to do pretty well in a prototype. But I don't know, it's a tricky one to call. I'm thinking Mercedes won't keep Bottas, but this channel has a habit of saying things won't happen, and then they do. Yeah, I like Russell. He's got the attitude and the pace, and he's doing stuff in that Williams that most people won't be able to do. And by most people, I mean most people of his generation. It's just that when he has a chance of getting a points finish, something goes against him. So if he did get that Mercedes seat, then it might mean the driver with the worst luck on the grid gets partnered with the driver with the best luck on the grid. So to call a pick, I think they will actually take Russell so Lewis can mentor him through the last 2 years or so of his career. And Charles Leclerc said that Russell deserves it due to his talent, but hey, what do professionals know? We all know the fans are the real experts. So anyway, quick thoughts on what's happening with the Bottas-Russell-Mercedes love triangle situation raging on in the background and all anyone was talking about in the summer break. Leave your own thoughts in the comments section and get a discussion going, because that's why this series exists. And while scrolling down, if you thought I made some good points, get that like button clicked, and for more, click subscribe and get that bell on so you never miss out on a future video. Massive thanks as always go out to the patrons of Patreon for their continued support, and if you want to join them or just join in the Discord stuff, I'll leave all the relevant links down in the description box for you. So until next time, I've been AdmiralLaWind, have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you all again soon, or Monday after the race, for another video. So until then, goodbye.